Good evening, Stephen. It is Thursday night. That means it is Sarco Formula V8 3.5 League. How are you doing this evening?
V8 3.5 litre, and this is a really good evening for some very good racing. How are you doing, Dylan? Are you keeping well?
Absolutely fantastic. I think let's just get the drivers briefing out of the way. So thank you to all the guys that are ready and waiting for us. We do have 13 drivers this evening. The format for this evening is a 10-minute qualifying, then a 40-minute race with a mandatory pit stop. We are at the Mans Bugatti circuit, and I'm sure Stephen will give us a little bit more information as we go in. So guys, just remember, turn number 1 is fine. It is turns 2 and 3 through the Dunlop chicane. Please just heed some caution there. We don't want any mishaps. But other than that, guys, all I can say is have an absolute fantastic race. Let's go racing.
Right.
You can hear some very nervous deep breaths happening in the background there. But other than that, Stephen, some interesting things about the track. Do you have any information there for us?
So the important thing to remember is that this is not the famed Circuit de la Sarthe. It's based at the same circuit, but it is not the one where the 24-hour of Le Mans is raced. This is a short version. It does feature significant part of the main part of the track. That is the famous pit straight with the Rolex stand right there. The Le Mans Bugatti circuit, of course, named after one of the most well-known racing outfits of all time. Of course, a producer of production cars as well. That is Bugatti. They are French, and of course this track is located in France, so what better a name circuit. We are in the pits as we see right now, and we are waiting for the guys to come out of their pits. They're probably finalizing their setups. Into the race this evening, a lot of notable drivers. You will notice that the Horn Dog is coming up in our Tier A. That's a little bit later, and a number of drivers, 13 in total. And we are waiting for them to come out the track. Sly Pete is in number 8. We're waiting for him to come out. Tyler Scott in number 7. Terry is up in number 5. And Vaughan Hill up in 3. We saw some excellent racing from him last week. And the Horn Dog, there he is. Before the track already.
So Stephen, what I'd like to do is just bring up the current points, because I must say that this championship for the Bravo tier is getting extremely tight. We just bring that up on screen, guys. We won't take too much time because we obviously want to see what's happening in the qualifying. But Colin's second place yesterday and Pierre's win has last week's, has basically taken Colin to the top of the standings, now tied with Sly Pete for the Rough Riders 2. Pierre now moves himself up into the 3rd spot. And then we have Dane, the second of the Daycall Racing drivers. He's now currently in 4th, with Tyler Scott for Jestic Racing in 5th. A very disappointing outing by the Rough Riders 3. That was Terry and Andrew Horn. A little coming together between Terry and Donovan, who's our substitute. But he had lots of issues, but we've had him in the practice lobbies, got his ports opened up. He hasn't been clashing, so we're hoping to see a great race from him. But then, interestingly enough, is these team standings are only separated by 4 points between Rough Riders 2 and Daycall Racing. So absolutely a fantastic racing action going to be happening in front of us this evening.
Absolutely. We are looking forward to having these amazingly fast, amazingly powerful, amazingly light cars going around at least a portion of what is the famed Le Mans 24-hour circuit. You can see there they're going to go underneath the Dunlop Bridge. Yep, there it is, one of the most famous views, no doubt, of the Le Mans circuit. And then, of course, there's that right-hand turn, whereas the Le Mans cars will go straight and down onto the Mulsanne straight. So these cars now onto what would be called an inner circuit for Le Mans. And it is going to be some superb racing as long as these guys keep their nerve. But last week, some incredible racing from these guys, especially from Andrew. And we were lucky enough to be treated to some very, very good racing in both the Bravo and the Alpha tiers. I'm hoping that this week won't disappoint either.
No, 100%. And we keep having just a few minor incidents going into turn number 1, and that definitely does impact on the drivers later on. And I'm just hoping that they are able to keep themselves clean. Just realize that the race is not won at that first corner. Because once the guys are racing, I promise you, the racing that we have is absolutely fantastic. The guys give each other enough of the space, which is what is needed. You can see Andrew having a little run on the back of one of the Decor Racing drivers. That's the DRS still open. I'm telling you now that DRS is still open going through there. Lost all that downforce, and Andrew stuck it in the wall on the inside of turn number 1.
Quite right, and it seems that the result is a bit of connection with the wall there. I wonder if that did damage to the car on the way out of the pit garage. That's very interesting to see. It seems that the guys are putting on some fantastic times already. 124 for the top 4. That is Sly Pete, Andrew, Vaughan, and of course the man in at number 4. Let me see if I can get his details up here on my own screen quickly. That
is Colin.
There we go. That's exactly what I'm looking for. Colin coming for.
So 0.7 of a second separating the first 4 drivers. And just wanted to see where Dane is, because he's further down in 8th place, so he's not quite on the pace there, and he's going to have to really stick it in a good time there to start getting himself further up the field. Already starting to see some of the guys on the stream that have come and joined us. Welcome. Vaughan is saying go, go, go. Vaughan racing here with us now. Pieter, lekker man, hoe gaan het? Alles lekker by die see? Ek hoop. Pieter Geilen, he is now joined us saying how's it? Alex will be with us later. How's it? Rudy, unfortunately having to withdraw. His ADSL has been giving him every little bit of nightmare, so has not been able to race with us and had to withdraw from this championship. Morris is saying good luck guys, enjoy. We'll see Morris later. He's also fighting up there in the championship. Cam Scott, I was actually in a chat party with them earlier saying that they will come and watch the stream. Thanks so much. And then Brandon Hills, we're looking forward to seeing him in the Alpha tier here supporting his racing boots.
Very nice visuals there.
There we go. Now those times are coming down. A 122.2 and a 122.721. How's that? Exactly half a second difference.
That's amazing. That is amazing. I think there's going to be some real big competition between Pete and Vaughan. Very, very interesting once those guys are out on track. In fact, let's have a look and see exactly where Pete is now. Down the back straight. And they make a turn. They go through this S.
So that's going through turn 7 and 8, and the track limits on this track are absolutely insane. In some of the practice sessions we had last night, some of the guys are running up to 10-second penalties. It is just so unforgiving. So now we'll jump on board with Sly Pete, and I'll take you for a journey around the track. So here we come out of turn number 11, flat down the start-finish line. Thank you, Pete, for ruining that for us. Let's go see if we can find somebody else who can help us.
Let's go on board with Colin.
So Colin's gone back. So let's stick with Vaughan. So this is DRS still open, coming through here, turn number 1. Then on the brakes, out to turn number 2, up through the Dunlock chicane, up through turn number 3, power on nice and early. I generally would put the DRS on here, but then make sure I touch the brakes now going down into La Chapelle, turn number 4. It then tightens up on you, but then as it tightens, you can get that power on, run out to the outside, now into turn number 5. Late apex, onto that, and then I try and get to that outside curb, and then a straight line here towards turn number 6, and use this as almost like one corner, one straight fluid line through there. That was turn number 6.
And
now onto the back straight. This is where the guys with the DRS are going to really get that slipstream advantage, but whether you go and take the opportunity into turn number 7, now through turn number 8, to see Vaughan staying very well in those track limits. Now, one of my favorite parts is this turn 9, then into turn 10. We'll short shift down into second gear, get that car turned in, and the tricky turns number 11. So narrow through this part here, and any little running wide, and that's the end of your lap. So Vaughan will cross the line. He goes slightly quicker, but now he too is in the 122s. That puts him in third place.
Very, very tough competition here. You can see just a few seconds separating the top 3 drivers, less than 500ths of a second. Even then, Pierre number 4, he is 1 second behind.
I'm a little bit surprised to see Donovan down in 8th place. Is that I had quite a nice little run-in with Donovan in our practice sessions, and he definitely had that pace. So I'm hoping that he'll be able to turn that on during the race and get himself further up there. We do see further down the order, number 9, that is number 47, a PB. That is Peter Brandt that has now been able to join us. He's come with Marius Stolz. So Marius Stolz is BRM number 11. That is Marius Stolz having joined us from BRM is another group that the guys have. So really awesome to see. 12th position, that is Terry Wilford, and in the 13th place, who's now in the pits, that is Troy. Troy really struggling getting this car under control, understanding that Troy is in a controller and just doesn't have the feel like the rest of the guys with the wheel.
Well, it's interesting, the disadvantage that is presented by using a controller as opposed to using a racing rig with a full wheel setup. Much like what you have at home there, Dylan. The interesting thing about the controller is that it presents a heck of a lot more of a challenge, and a lot of these guys, they know how to handle a car when it comes to having a steering wheel, but sitting behind a controller where there isn't as much feedback, and suddenly things go real haywire. So you can see, oh, that's getting a little bit frisky on the way out there for Marius.
So just checking up. We tried that again without the stutter. Was just checking on our Facebook page. I see Carl Hardeman, he's joined us and he's given us a thumbs up. How's it, Carl? We hope to see you racing this coming weekend, boy. So Gavin Reed saying lack of Vaughan, so obviously cheering for him. Anita's come and sent her regards for Pierre, so I'm sure we'll definitely be looking out for him. Flat out Christopher Radloff. We're looking forward to seeing you later. I did ask Christopher earlier on in the day, I said, Christopher, are you going to win this race? And his words to me, and I've never heard a unsure Christopher, and he said, Bud, I'm going to try my best. And that's just because the level of racing that we are experiencing in that Alpha tier is absolutely incredible. We're looking at about 5 drivers that are within 0.3, 0.4 of a second. It's going to be a cracker.
Absolutely. These guys have got a lot of work to do, though. They want to stay ahead of the competition. There, Tyler Scott heading into the pits. Is end of this session for qualifying. Ooh, almost connecting with the wall. And these guys will then get themselves onto the grid for the first lot of racing this evening. Right here with the South African racing community online. That's action very proudly brought to you by VX Gaming, NASCOM, and Deliver Your Parcel.
So the final standings is Pete will start off on pole with his closest rival, Colin. Those two tied for championship points. Vaughan is in 3rd place with Pierre 4th, Andrew Horn in 5th. Tyler Scott, he's in 6th place with Peter Brandt in 7th. That is Dane. I actually don't know Dane's surname. I just know him as Dane. Donovan.
Dane is Dane.
Donovan Lee, he's in 9th place with Robert Stoltz in 10th. Morris Jacobs in 11th. Terry Wilford in 12th. And Troy in 13th position.
That is your grid. We are waiting now everybody to confirm before they head out onto the grid. There they are.
That's it. So yes, we are going to be waiting for the sinking. And my poor son absolutely loves it. Every time I say, my boy, what are you thinking about? He thinks about that YouTube thing about the German. What are you thinking about?
Of course he would, wouldn't he? It's your son.
True story. True story.
The Germans would like a word with you. Germans would like a word with you. We're now heading through the grid. Cockpit of each and every racer here. You can see them moving down. That car vibrating a bit. And it would be nice if you were in the cockpit yourself. I'll tell you what. Quite something to go around Le Mans, even if it is only a portion of it. At the back of the grid. All the way through to the front. So the syncing process, just make sure that everybody has the track fully loaded. Everybody has their opponents fully loaded on their consoles as well. That the racing can be as smooth as possible. Interestingly enough, the Bugatti circuit.
I can assure you that the nerves that the guys are experiencing now, because when we started off and we went into the game, there wasn't much chatter. The guys are really, really anxious for this race this evening. And there we have it. That's what we've been waiting for. That was the sinking. So it is a lights out and wheel racing here at Bugatti, round number 4. What I can just hope is that the guys keep it nice and clean through turns 1 and 2. So far, just about 3 wide.
Brakes, yeah.
They're going to be on the brakes. So there we go in the background there.
There's action.
That looked like it was one of the Rough Rider 3s and the Majestic Racing drivers. So that was the looks of it. And Andrew, I think it might have been Andrew. I think Andrew had a little bit of a tying up together with one of the Majestic drivers. So that's not going to help him. Let's just jump back to the front and see what's happening, because Sly PT is now away with Pierre in second place. Colin is in third, with Vaughan now dropping down into fourth. Then we have Donovan. He was up into fifth, now dropping down with Peter Brandt taking that position away from him. So you can see the gap starting to open up between Pierre and his teammates. Sly P2's currently in front, but it looks like Vaughan is closing up in the back of Colin. Will he look to the inside? Whoa, that was very close. I think Colin saw him coming, just opened up that wheel and would rather have gone a little bit wide and taking a little bit of contact, but there's no harm, no foul. They will continue racing as they now go into turn number 1. DRS would be open here, then hard on the brakes up through turn number 2. Watch the little bump over the hill, over that crest, and then get that power straight back on. I must say, coming down this hill is just a little bit tricky, and that's purely because that corner is always just falling away from you.
Turn number 4, that U-turn over there. Beg your pardon, that's turn number 5. That is the second of the 3 switchbacks that form the first or the second sector of the track. Wide. That turn number 6.
There's somebody on the outside there. That looks like Dane. So that was the other of the Daycor Racing. But Vaughan really, really troubling the back of the Daycor Racing driver. That's Colin in third place. You can see Colin does have a little tick on his name. That means that he does have some sort of time penalty that he will take into consideration, that at the end of the race, or will move to the inside. A great move there by Vaughan. Colin saw him coming, could not fight that position, and he had to let Vaughan through.
Head back now and see what's going on with poor Dane.
Oh, Dane has got a monumental task here trying to get this car back.
So far back on the track as well. That is straight. The car limping there.
That's coming towards turn number 7 and 8. So let's just hope he
a long way to go.
Stays off the sand, because if he does go in the sand, he will get stuck there.
Don't think he can hear you. No, he is using the back route. Okay, he's using the back route.
Just
It's going
jump
to be a mission for him
to 5th and 6th place there, please. Let's see, Donovan's been moving himself up the order, so Donovan in the 5th place. 1:27 for him. Colin now down into 4th place. We saw that great overtaking maneuver by Vaughan.
We'll see shortly Dane having been lapped by his other racers with the damage to his car. You can have a look and see on the left as well the fact that both Peter and Colin have got some penalties to their name. So I wonder what those penalties were for. It might have been a little bit of rough action. Start of the race, it's certainly possible. Slight Pete having pulled up a nice gap as well. Let's resume a look at the race leader.
So that's 5 seconds he's got between himself and his teammate. But Vaughan's closing up on the 2nd place driver now. You can see that gap now, 0.3 of a second, and there we go. That's Vaughan now, whoa, going a little bit wide, going into La Chapelle down in turn number 4. So he had closed up that gap quite convincingly, and unfortunately is now lost just a little bit of way there.
Got a chance to make it up though. Got a chance to make it up. We are early days, just under 35 minutes of the 40-minute race remaining.
We've only had 5 minutes of this race, so there's still much more racing to come.
Straight is nice and long, allowing these guys really to wind up those motors. A 3.5 litre V8 making 500. Oh dear, a bit wide. That was very wide for Colin. Or was that lag? Sorry, I beg your pardon, Pierre.
Yeah, that's Pierre.
May have been some lag by the looks of it.
Well, Vaughan going
really has
to the inside. Whoa, side by side. That was a greater witness there by Pierre. I think he did see him coming. He did leave that door wide open, but an absolute fantastic maneuver there from Vaughan. And now he puts himself up into 2nd place. Now, and these guys going to turn number 1. That's Pierre going around the outside, but realizes that there is a back marker that's in front of them, and that's a clip of the back marker. So that was Vaughan in 2nd place. He's now dropped down into 4th after contact there between himself and a back marker. I just hope that it was just a clip of the wheel and it didn't do too much damage. But I just know that these cars are just about like driving a cheese grater. Any little touch and that's the end of that.
Very fragile. Of course, it's the best of open wheel racing. These cars are known to be the ideal training wheels, as some people have called them, or Formula One. Not that far removed. Now are in fact old Formula One cars, old V8 Formula Ones. And way better to race them than on the Mans Bugatti circuit.
So a lot of the comments that the guys have been saying is that it is such a difficult track, specifically in these cars, to get that rhythm. And one of the other things that we need to just be aware of is that the tires on this track, the track is so rough that it just eats these tires. So we'll definitely see some tire changes happening when we get halfway through this race.
Well, these guys do need to make a mandatory pit stop somewhere along the way. And a number have made pit stops already. That is, of course, excluding the pit stops that they will make for any damage that they sustain, such as the loss of front splitter, or in Dane's case, we move down the order now and see where he is. He has at least got his back wheel back.
And that is the little engine that could. Man, the fact that he drove that car an entire lap with only 3 wheels, I'll take my hat off to him. Absolutely. Let's just jump to 6th place. I see that we've got Peter Brunn fighting with Troy. Troy into 7th place. Remember, Troy started right at the back. So he's really moving himself up the order. So really impressive there for Troy. Great to see him fighting hard here. Oh, much better entry for him going into turn number 6. So that's going to give him a better exit and possibly close up that line that distance between himself and the car in front of him.
Onto the brakes coming in through that chicane. That is turns 7 and 8. Right now into turn number 9. More than a 90-degree curve this. And likewise turn 10, more than a 90-degree curve to the left.
So you can
through to Ford chicane.
You
Chicane,
can
of course, being big,
Troy going
wide,
a little bit wide there. So
onto the famous straight.
Just looking at Vaughan's time, I see that he did a 125.7. So he's still going quicker than the two drivers ahead of him. Not as fast as Sly Pete, who's currently leading. So hopefully that the contact wasn't too bad and he's able to put his head down and start fighting his way back up. He does have 3 seconds to make up to get to the back of our third place driver, and we can see him in the background as we go around out of turn number 6. We'll see him. There we saw Colin. So Vaughan, head down, and I'm sure he's going to be looking to have their targets on the back of Colin.
Absolutely. He must have a strategy in place though. Consistent, be smooth, and wreck your car. Will gain time. No doubt about that. Smooth racing, yet fast racing. Right hand corner there. That was turn number 9, and this is turn number 10. And then into turn 11. This is not dual number turn.
I can tell you something, that Vaughan definitely feels comfortable on that corner, considering he had 2 blinders of inside moves and managed to get 2 passes there. Definitely not scared to chuck it in there.
Right, and 250k an hour down the pit straight. See him dropping right now down to keeping it in 3rd. Interesting.
Yeah, what he's doing is allowing himself to carry the speed through there. The different drivers will use a different style. That I like to just drop it down into 2nd on the initial turn in, but as I go over that little curb, short shift into 3rd to try and reduce that wheel spin.
Number 5 starting out of the tight turn, and he's slowly opening up down on the 2nd of the 3 switchbacks into the 3rd. He is gaining. You can see he's gaining. And
Colin is giving Pierre an almighty battle there in front. If we just jump up that one place, let's just have a look what's happening trackside. We can see the guys having an almighty battle here. Colin going a little bit deep into turn number 7. That's going to hurt his exit down towards turn 9. And here comes Vaughan once again. You can see still going just about a second quicker than Colin, and a 1.5 seconds quicker than Pierre on the last lap. So he's definitely going to be fighting these guys in the next lap or so.
Absolutely. It's the battle to come. Battle for 2nd. Pierre is way ahead, very comfortably ahead. But 13 seconds can disappear in a heartbeat if something does go wrong. And all it takes is a momentary lapse of concentration. And you might find yourself in a wall.
Like he did in a hard Pete. See what I did there? We hit the curb coming out of turn number 1 and Hockenheim, and Peter was leading that race and landed up destroying his car. So it can still happen. It can still happen.
What is that risk?
Now Vaughan closing up on the back of Colin there in 3rd place.
It's not the only battle emerging. Scroll a bit further down the list. The 6th is hotting up. 5th, I beg your pardon, is hotting up too. Donovan there.
Chasing down Peter
down his teammate.
So technically not teammate, they just happened to be in the same car. But yes, in the practice session that we had yesterday, these guys were definitely going at each other. And I had an almighty little battle there with Donovan until I ended up winning it.
Oh well, you lose some.
It does happen. So let's jump back to that battle for 3rd place. Those guys are once again extremely close. Oh, just jump one more, please. That's a Colin with Vaughan right behind him. Sorry guys, I'll eventually get it right and not mix you guys up like that. But you can see Vaughan putting a huge amount of pressure on the back of Colin. They're now going to turn number 4. Colin nice and tight. Vaughan taking a little bit of a wider approach, then tightening up. What if he just lost a little bit of downforce going through? They can see he's just dropped back a little bit, unless he's deciding to not take a slowdown penalty. Maybe coming out of turn number 3, he got the slowdown and it's just allowed himself just to not have that added to his time, and will come fighting back once again. So still 25 minutes left of this race, only 50 minutes have gone by, and man oh man, what action we're seeing already.
Absolutely. It's famous track. The Circuit de la Sarthe Bugatti circuit, located within Circuit de 24 Heures. Constructed all the way back in 1965, not a new kid on the block.
Oh, very sorry, Stephen. It was a very slow exit for Pierre, and Colin just about jumped on his rear wing there. Tight entry for Colin on that brakes. He missed that inside apex, managed to recover going through turn number 3. Now he'll come down the hill. And I did make the mistake of not touching my brakes, had the DRS open, and as I turned in, I landed up on the wall near the tyres, just on the outside there. That was very interesting.
It's unfortunate. Recover. Yeah, you can definitely recover, even if you have only 3 wheels. Get all the way back to the pit, get your car fixed, and head back out onto the circuit. That is, of course, an advantage of sim racing. So we can see how fast these guys went, 260 kilometers an hour down the back straight. Keeping it third, carrying that speed through that S.
And I've seen that the guys are staying very well with those curves, keeping the cars now in between the white lines. And I'm telling you now, the Alpha guys, we're going to see a lot more time penalties come on, because they're going to be attacking those curbs, giving it every single thing that they have. If we can just jump outside, I just want to see what's happening with Vaughan behind, because he's definitely closing up. And there he would have had a slipstream advantage, DRS open, through turn number 1. Now hard on the brakes into turn 2. You can see the line that Vaughan is taking is so much tighter. You get such a better drive out than both Colin and Pierre, but you see tighter on that inside.
It does not seem as though he is carrying enough speed to bend hot.
Kick on the rear there for Vaughan, just getting that power on. DRS now open. You can see as it goes into those brakes, it's still saying that the DRS was open, but I'm pretty sure that it was closed. So thank you guys, lots and lots of support coming through for the drivers. We've got a message here from Brandon Hill saying, Kamikaze Vaughan, excellent pass. And that was indeed, and he ended up doing it twice. And unfortunately, him getting a little bit of a tag, getting caught up with a back marker going into turn number 3, but here he is back once again, going to be fighting for the positions that he lost. I don't even know how to say that name, but it is Cesar. There's no vowels, so I can't even pronounce it, but it's given us saying it's a very hard track with this kind of car, but it looks super good. So this is an absolute fantastic comment, Lendl. I absolutely love it. He's saying, lick the stamp and send it, Vaughan.
Oh, yes.
So here we go. We'll look to the inside. Colin sees him coming. He shuts that door. He had every reason to do that, but now Colin running a little bit wide. Vaughan on the inside. He's going to have the shorter line, but not enough of an advantage to get ahead of him. Now they'll break into turn number 6. This will be where if Vaughan can get a good drive, get the DRS open, and that's... Oh my goodness, I thought that was going to be him up against the wall. Oh my gosh.
Rotten move there.
Just
a little bit too enthusiastic. See, this is a good example of how pressure can work for and against you. Putting pressure on the driver ahead of you, but you're also putting pressure on yourself. And like I say, one slightly wrong move, and you have to find yourself dropping back. That was a lucky save for Vaughan, certainly, because that wall was close by. And he may have found himself sans a front splitter, or perhaps even a front wheel. That would have been the end of his chase. He's still in it though.
Yep.
Down perhaps 1 second now. Colin surely breathing a big sigh of relief. But for how long?
So I see that Peter Brunt in 5th place has opened himself a gap of just over 9 seconds away from Donovan Lee down in 6th. We have lost a driver. I see we are down to 12.
Dane is still in. I wonder who we've lost.
Yeah, I'll just recheck the records here and we'll definitely figure out who that was. So we still have the two Rough Riders of Andrew and Terry. The two Daycor Racing drivers, they are still there. The two Rough Rider 2s are there. Jestic Racing, they are there because we've got Tyler down in 9th place and Robert in 7th. Troy, there's Sebasco Troy in 8th place, so he's still with us. Donovan, he is with us. Marius Jacobs, that is who we're missing, and we see Morris is following us on our Facebook channel. Morris, what are we going to do? This is now the second race that unfortunately you've disconnected from and we've lost you. We've got to get you talking to Ashley and hopefully he can help you, because Donovan had endless trouble and here he is racing with no problems. So yeah, let's see if we can sort you out. But Morris supporting Peter Brunt, who's currently in 5th place. A great effort there for him.
There's still a lot of good racing happening here. It's the nature of the beast when you're dealing with online racing. Sometimes your internet connection has a bit of a wobble and it might mean that you are out.
So Colin putting pressure once again on Pierre, and I must say Pierre is really handling this pressure so well. You can see them going into turn number 7 and 8, and there's the first of the pits. Okay, just jump up one position for us, please, just so we can have a look at Colin chasing down Pierre. We see Sly Pete has gone into the pits. Great tight line there for Colin. Pierre decides that he's going to follow. Yeah. Vaughan goes in, which means that we'll have Colin coming around the start-finish line. He will across the line, go past Sly Pete, who is still in the pits, and Colin will now be your race leader.
It's an opportunity for him.
And
to
I must say that
really
Pete has been in the pits for a pretty long time.
This won't be a big enough gap to overcome a pit stop and take the lead from Peter. Once one needs to go in. That seems to be the strategy tonight, with a lot of the drivers looking at the pits. Well, looking at these 3 drivers, just over halfway, about 17 and a half minutes remaining of the Bravo tier racing right here in Sarco.
And then I just wanted to make a quick mention to the guys who are watching, thanks so much, that we do have a special offer that's come from Deliver Your Parcel, and they're saying that go check out the new Deliver Your Parcel offer, that you get to deliver a 10 kilogram parcel with multiple delivery or collection options all over South Africa. Take advantage of this current offer anywhere in South Africa via economy with your delivery, and it will take up to 48 to 72 hours for 85 Rand for 10 kilograms. That's an absolutely fantastic offer. Go check out their website to inquire, and all the details are in the description below. And once again, we have a camouflaged pit crew.
This seems to be a regular occurrence now. I'm going to have to come up with a name for them. because they are the magic helmets. That's the easiest way to call them. They are floating helmets right there.
So Donovan decides to come into the pits, but I want to see if Colin, is able to get out of the pits ahead of Pierre as well as Brandon. Sorry, Brandon. Vaughan.
We'll be closing very, very quickly.
So there goes Pierre.
Repairing damage. Oh dear, no, that's Pierre. He's gone past. And Donovan as well.
And there goes Vaughan.
Will he emerge ahead of... No, Donovan is in the pits too now, I beg your pardon. Will he emerge ahead of Vaughan? Oh, it's going to be tight. No, there we go. Vaughan has just gone past.
So I'm just thinking that there might be some damage that Colin has decided to go and fix. Because now he's found himself 24 seconds. Excuse me, there we go. Now it has just reset itself. He finds himself just over 9 seconds behind him.
Now there's still a lot of work to do. Still a lot of work to do there. If he wants to find himself moving up to the podium, that is Colin. He's going to have to make it rain a little bit. Comes to fast laps and consistent laps. And it seems now that the field is quite nicely split. There is a bit of a battle going on between Donovan in 6th.
Yeah, so the closest guys are currently Colin and Peter Brandt in 4th and 5th place.
I don't know so much. It seems to be it's a very, very tight tussle. There we go, 102 and 106. It's 45 and 48, so it's going between 3 and 4 seconds. To put in some
little touch on the outside curve there for Troy. I'm sure he had a little bit of a moment there.
That time when the wheel tries to wrench itself out of your hands, that's how you know you're pushing a little bit too hard through the Ford chicane and onto the main section of the 4 hours of Le Mans circuit. Heading up the hill now towards the famous Dunlop Bridge. The next view will be of Dunlop Bridge. Beg your pardon. We'll go after this.
There we go.
Yeah, we have lost Troy. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, that is correct. Troy has disconnected and looked like it's Terry who's disconnected with him.
It's a big pity.
That means we are now down to 10 drivers. So I don't understand why those two would have disconnected together. That is absolutely crazy.
Means now that Andrew is representing TA Motorsport. Shake and Bake was being represented by Troy, which means that he's out altogether. Shake and Bake having it out of the race.
So I must say, I'm sure Dane is pretty happy that he tried to just continue, because now at least he will find himself getting some points.
Yeah, quite right. Certainly won't find himself, I don't think, moving further up the podium or moving further up the order than 10th place, because there is an enormous.
Yeah, man, that's just on.
Especially now.
That is laps that Dane is behind there. So I'm looking at Vaughan starting to close up on Pierre. That gap now down to 5. It was sitting around 7 seconds. So Vaughan definitely sending it, or let's see if we is hashtag full send.
He's going to be chasing down Peter's teammate. And Peter's teammate, it goes by the name of Pierre.
Sorry, Troy, we've just seen that you disconnected. We see that he has joined us on the WhatsApp group, on our YouTube channel. Troy, yourself and Terry went out together. So unfortunate, man. Really, really hate seeing disconnections.
I was having done a lot of work in the race with just About 11.5 minutes to go.
So there's Andrew getting out of the
Who
way.
is that? Is that Andrew?
No, that was Andrew getting out the way of Vaughan. So Vaughan now down to 3 seconds between himself and Pierre. So Vaughan is definitely on a mission here. And I'm pretty sure that considering we've got just on about 10 minutes left to go, that Vaughan is going to be catching Pierre and hopefully get that second place back.
This could be a very, very tight race for second.
And I must say, watching Pete's times up front is that he's still going really, really quickly. He's definitely decided to start accelerating it, because now at 1:23.9, that's probably one of the fastest lap times that I've seen from him. So he definitely is going quite aggressively now. But this is where the action is. Yeah.
And depending on what tires he's running, he might be able to get a 1:22 in there. He needs to really, really shorten his lap times by at least 0.9 of a second to do so. And we'll see if he can get the kind of times that he was getting during qualifying. It is a possibility.
So remember, as the race goes on, the fuel, because the guys will start with full fuel, so that they don't need to waste the time in the pits. Ooh, a little wide there for Vaughan coming out of turn number 5. Or what you can do is, because the fuel and the tires are done together, is that you can actually time them, that you run a light car and then put a bit of a splash while you're getting your tires changed, and then keep yourself very competitive.
There are a lot of very interesting pit strategies that can be used in a race like this. And a pit strategy is not only about win. As you say, it's about making sure how full your car is. You must have enough petrol to make it to the end of the race. We have seen it before, that there are people who have run out of fuel. Run out of the good stuff, and that is the end of your race.
You can see Vaughan really trying to fight to get that power down, that rear just stepping out just a little bit. And not able to get the power down as quickly as he wanted to, but now that time within 1.5 seconds with 8.5 minutes to go. So we'll have just about 6 laps of this race, and Pierre's going to be fighting this all the way to the end, I can assure you.
Absolutely, Pierre will certainly be feeling the pressure now.
So if we just jump back to 7th and 8th, I see there's those two are fighting for a position. That is Tyler Scott fighting the rear of Andrew Horn. Oh, Tyler going very deep on the brakes there into turn number 6. That's gonna hurt his exit speed there. So Andrew able to just get himself a little bit further away. And Tyler closing ever so closer with that DRS open. Oh, jump on the curb there. That's going to be a slowdown penalty, I can assure you.
There it is. That little angle.
Okay, so we'll definitely come back to these guys shortly. Let's go see what's happening in 2nd and 3rd. Those guys are half a second away from each other. There's Pierre in 2nd place. Vaughan's going to be in that slipstream. The DRS is going to be open and getting maximum straight line speed advantage into turn number 1. So Pierre goes wide. You can see Vaughan much tighter. Ooh, that just unsettles the car. Sounds like he might have missed a gear there.
See, that seems to be happening. I wonder if Vaughan will be able to make his move next 7 minutes. He can move on Pierre. It meant a little tank stepper coming out of, funnily enough, this exact turn. Pierre just needs to know that he's got to keep on putting in very consistent lap times, keep on going, and not allow Vaughan the opportunity to surprise him with some late braking.
So Vaughan's a little bit deep. That's going to help Pierre. Now into a 9 and 10. Just want to see. I want to see what type of entry. You can see Vaughan very tight coming into turn number 10 there. Pierre was just a little bit wider. So Vaughan might have made up a couple of hundreds. This is where we're going to start seeing the difference, because you'll have the straight line speed advantage once again. The DRS will be open. Now within 1 second. You can see Vaughan taking a lot of that inside curb with him. Really, really awesome to see. So Pierre will know that Vaughan will not be scared to have a look in any little bit of an opportunity. Pierre struggling to get that power down. And I'm sure Anita's nerves are going to be shot just about now, watching Vaughan closing up on her man.
A bit wide there, running over the curbs. Time lost. It's very, very tight.
Much tighter line there for Vaughan, and I think that's going to be it. But no, not able to get that power down. So Pierre will now lead these two going into turn number 7 and 8. And it's all going to be about what's going to happen going into turn 9. Will he be close enough? You can see as Vaughan turns in how that rear just flicks. Now you'll see Vaughan will tighten up. Will he get the better run? He'll go look to the inside. Remember, he made this that overtake on Pierre earlier on in this race. A little bit of contact and he dropped down the field.
Vaughan now with full speed, almost 270 kilometers an hour, heading into turn number 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, there's a mistake there by Pierre. He came off the power or missed the gear, I'm not quite sure. But he was on the outside of the track, and Vaughan was able to put himself in a position where he had a much better drive and managed to go past without any problem.
That, I think, will be his race. He will stay in third.
Ooh, luck up there.
Road now clear. Pierre might have the opportunity to the pressure Vaughan. It will then become, will Pierre be able to maintain his own race?
So to the guys on the Alpha stream, we will see you in approximately 5 minutes, 3 minutes left of this race. So guys, I hope that you're ready. To the viewers out there, don't go away. There is 3 minutes left of this race, but we do go into the Alpha tier. So we urge you to get yourself another cold beverage, some snacks, possibly some Dorito chips. Sweet chili are my favorite.
Yes.
So comment, where is Sly Pete? Quinton Sly Pete is currently right at the top. He is 36 seconds away from this battle that we are seeing now. And I'm sure you can see his lap times have come down quite dramatically. All he wants to do now is just bring it home.
He is going to have to make sure he doesn't mess up, because 35 seconds might seem like a long time, but bang your car into a wall and you're far from the pit, you will find yourself being overtaken very quickly. All Peter needs to do now is to go home, as Dylan is saying. Not too greedy, not too enthusiastic, keeping nice consistent lap times, which is exactly what he has been doing up until now. Taking it a bit easy. You can see 125 on his previous lap.
A little mistake there, just coming up the back of a back marker, and I think he wanted to go to the inside but realized that the back marker was a little bit slower. So 1 minute 50 to go.
Has got this in the bag, no doubt about that. Oh,
I think a little bit of miscommunication there. I'm sure that driver will be getting blue flags, but I think he wanted to go to one side. Pete had changed his mind to go the other way. But I think he's just realized, let him just stay here. Try not make a mistake. That would be absolutely disastrous.
Cars need indicators. These cars need indicators. Tell me, am I going left? Oh, you see, it's dangerous. Thing is, in a situation like this, he would be wanting to overtake that driver in front, even though he is not.
He'll move to the inside.
Be 59 seconds to go now.
So this will be the final lap of this race. I'm just skimming through the order. There aren't really many battles happening right there. I must say that the Courage Award definitely goes to Dane, having lost a wheel in the... So I'm not sure why the backmarker is still trying to race Pete when he is coming to lap him. But I see the Majestic driver has now moved over and allowed him to go past. But as I was saying, that Dane lost a rear wheel and his front wing into the chicane, managed to get the car home, got it repaired, and here he is racing. So the
winner
race leader, he hasn't won yet.
And we can say it's a win in, and there it is. Race. The last ticket having ticked by. All he's got to do, bring it around the Ford chicane. A little bit of a tank snapper. Brave.
Imagine if he had actually landed up spinning that. Oh my goodness. Well, there we go. So Pete will cross the line in first place. An absolute great race for him. He managed to get a great start and led from the front. A absolutely heroic drive here above Horn Hills. Moved himself up the order, got into second place after two absolutely fantastic moves to the inside on this very corner going into turn number 11, and got a little tangle with a back marker, dropped back down to fourth, and here he is come flying through the grid. Great race there in second place. And Pierre, I must say, absolutely drove fantastically as well. Did come home in third place, but the amount of pressure that he sustained for that amount of time, I'll take my hat off to him.
I absolutely agree with you. As you will see, there are a number of penalties. The drivers being immune from penalty tonight: Tyler, Donovan, Pierre, and Vaughan. And Peter managed to get himself a penalty. That's it.
There's the confirmation of the disconnections. It was Terry, Marius, and Troy, and that is
Andrew having been.
That is the final result. So a slight Peter Hardeman, he comes home in first place with Vaughan Hills in second. Pierre comes home in third with Colin in fourth place. Also a great drive for him there. Then Peter Brun finishes in fifth place with Donovan Lee in sixth. Seventh goes to Andrew Horn. Contact for him right in the beginning, and also repairs done to him, so he salvaged a seventh place. Tyler Scott also involved right in the beginning of the race, so he finds himself in eighth with Robert Stoltz in ninth place, and Dane, man oh man, what a fantastic recovery. 10th place for him and some points in the bag.
It was some really fantastic racing from the Barbers here this evening. Thursday night. It is the Formula 3.5 litre.
Only just.
Heading over now to Alphatia.
Oh, well done, guys. Very nice race.
Not before we speak to
so
winner.
we're just gonna get the. While we're doing that, let's just. That's not what I wanted to do. Let's just get ourselves into that Bravo tier, and we will proceed with them shortly. Alpha tier, apologies. So we're just waiting to get the guys in the chat lobby here on our Discord so we can have a quick chat to them.
Pushed it through the floor. Jacques Miller did the same thing. It's a Project Cat thing. Worth a tenth every lap.
So Kogan, I might not be finishing last this time.
Yeah.
Joining us right now is Pete. Well done on what was an excellent race. It was absolutely superb. Find yourself very, very comfortable up in first place. No problem at all. And how did the race turn out for you?
Really soft, I can't, yeah.
Yeah. Unlike last weekend.
Try the headphones.
Last week, I suppose.
Okay, guys, we're just trying to get. So Vaughn has joined us. Sly Pete has joined us. Let's try and see if we can get Pierre in the Discord with us as well. So let's start off with you, Pete, while we get Vaughn in. A pretty quiet race for you up front there. Led from the start and just carried on going from there.
Yeah, no, it was great fun. Yeah, really enjoyed that one, eh? High speed and all the way, yeah, pushed it.
Now listen, we did start commenting on you as you were coming around, and on that last corner, a little bit of a slide there. What was that?
Yeah, that was almost.
And then Vaughn,
just a little something.
Yeah, a little something for the cameras. Thank you so much. Vaughn, not sure if you can hear us. If not, we'll have to come back to you a little bit later on. But let's see what's happening. Oh, there we go.
Is in the building, as is Vaughn. Pete.
How's it?
Here we go.
Okay, so we're still not getting Vaughn to come up, and Pierre's not hearing us.
I'm here.
Oh, fantastic.
How's it?
I did, yeah.
Excellent driving from all three of you tonight. Vaughn, some superb driving from you. Some great passes, especially down on turn 11. You must have had fun out there.
Yeah, look, it was, yes, I'm still a bit shaky. It was a good race, it was close racing. Up at the front there, it was nice and clean racing, so yeah, I had good fun.
Just Dylan talking to himself.
He's hearing voices in his head sometimes.
It's alright, we just entertain him. This whole thing is just to entertain him.
Second, third. And then, yeah, I saw I had the pace, so I just actually went into the pits, but then I saw, I don't know what his name is, Max Overdrive, also pitted, and his stop was a lot quicker than mine, so he had about 8 seconds on me. But yeah, I managed to catch him in the last few minutes of the race, and he made a mistake going into one of the turns, so it made it pretty easy for myself. And yeah, happy with the second, it was pretty cool.
Very
Good
awesome.
drive.
Great drive. And then Pierre, man, defending for so long. And unfortunately, you're coming away with a third place.
Yeah, man, I don't know what the heck. I was battling with the car. In practice, I was a lot faster. I don't know what I did, but anyway, it was fun anyway. Well done to the winners.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was.
It was really great to see. It was great driving, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was sort of high rated here in the middle of the race. But I think, yeah, by the end, everybody cooled down and said, okay, this is what we do. But yeah, well done, Pete and Vaughn. Yes, man, you gave me hell there from the back.
No, awesome,
Well done.
guys. Thank you so much. We hope that we'll see you commenting on the Alpha tier. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys. Cheers. Well done.
Cheers, guys. Bye.
Well done. Ciao.
That was the 1, 2, and 3 of the Bravo tier this evening, having put in some really, really good racing. That was the Bravo tier. You can imagine what's coming up in the Alpha tier. We are awaiting the start of the qualifying session in the Alpha tier.
All right, guys, to the Alpha tier, if you can hear me.
Yes.
So we hope you have an absolutely fantastic evening. But gentlemen, just before we start, please, I just need to say something. I would just like to send my thoughts and my prayers out to Andrew Ambrogioni, who unfortunately did lose his brother last night, hence he wasn't racing with us on Monday. So to Andrew, we're all with you, we're all behind you, and your family is here to support you. So if we could just have just a moment's silence for Andrew. Right, guys, outfits here.
Yeah.
Let's go racing.
Good timing, Mr. Hall. Just joining us right here on this Thursday evening. My name is Stephen Darge. Opposite me in the commentary box is Dylan Hall. And we are going racing in the outfit here with the South African racing community online. Tonight's action very proudly brought to you by BX Gaming. NASCOM and deliver your parcel. We are at the Mans Bugatti circuit. We are heading into the qualifying session for the outfit here. Beautiful track. Inside of the famous heading out of the pits.
So while they go out, I think let's get the current positions in terms of the standings up, because that's also very, very interesting to see. So currently right at the top of the standing is Christopher Radloff for the Green Mambas, 180 points, and he has Brandon Hills down in second place. And this is where the confusion comes in between Vaughan Hills and Brandon Hills, the two brothers. So Brandon currently in second place with Jakes in third. Ashley for NASCOM, the proud sponsor of our website, he's in fourth place. So very close there between Jakes and Ashley. Ross, in some of the pre-race build-up, he did say that he has his eyes on Jakes and Ashley. Craig, Yugi's finest, down in 8th place. He was batting to get himself on some pace. Gavin had an absolutely fantastic result last week, so he's now moved up the order, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see him getting in some absolute fantastic times here. Alex is in 8th place, tied with Marshall with the Chasing Beavers. Ronaldo down in 10th. With Connor, Yugi's finest, had a difficult last race. Damage in the first couple of corners puts him in 11th. Down in 12th is Marius for Silverback Racing. Sean van der Linde, he's still not well, still at home in bed. So we are hoping that he is joining us. And Paul, he's not here. Then we have Lendl. Lendl has been quick through a lot of the practices. We haven't seen him. He kept disconnecting and contacting the beginning of the previous race. Saw him not continue, and then Stephen, for a shake and bake teammate to Troy, he's still to score, has had absolute crackers of starts, and then unfortunately getting caught up in the middle of the crowd there, and just hasn't been able to convert any points. So that was one of the Yugi's finest in front of him in their Panasonic colors. I think that possibly is what just put him off just a little bit. So look at those lap times. So Christopher goes out a 120.1 straight off the bat, then a 121.1, 121.2, 121.6, and we are expecting to see a 119 because this is the pace that the Alpha tier drivers are capable. So let's just put something into perspective there. So yes, Christopher is a second ahead at this stage. But then from Gavin down to Lendl is 0.8 of a second. That is 5 places separated by 0.8. That is how close this is. Just as I looked away, I just saw him spinning. Okay, now those times are starting to come down because there's Brandon, a 120.4, so that's 0.3 off our race, off our provisional pole. You can see him just getting out the way as Stephen goes past. It's a very, very tricky exit because you are just about 270 kilometers an hour going into turn number 2, and there's somebody coming out of the pits. No, wasn't happy with that, so he will drop that and start again. So just looking through the order, Brandon still in second place, Jakes is in third, great time there, 121.0 for him. Gavin 121.1, Marius 121.1. Man oh man, it is so close in the middle there. So there's Marius now putting himself into third place. So guys, if you are on the stream, give us a message. Tell us who you're supporting in this race this evening. If you want to send a shout out, put it up. We will definitely shout out. Just remember guys, we are officially Code Coconuts, so we like to keep it nice and clean. So look, I think at this stage of the race that the guys are now at the end of qualifying, they should not be trying to play with setups. Whatever you've got, whatever you've been driving, that's the one you commit to. But to start making tweaks, I promise you, you can make the wrong way and then you're going to make things even worse. So guys, our Discord, where we have the chat coming through between myself and Steven, that's unfortunately gone down. So let's just see if we can't just get that up and running again. But don't worry, is that the stream is still running. I just think that the Discord server might have just dropped. So we're just trying to get that up and running again. So there we have it, a 119.9 for Christopher. Gavin is in second place with a 121.3, 120.4, 120.6, 120.7. It's just Jakes now who needs to get down in that, and we'll have 6 drivers in the 120s. So we have still unfortunately lost the communication between myself and with Steven. The Discord server looks like it is down. And everything I'm doing is not coming up. So we might have to just try and get him into a chat party. Let's just see if we can get him prioritized that to party chat. Steven, are you able to hear me? So absolutely fantastic qualifying times there. Christopher 119.9, then 0.4 off him is Gavin in second, then Brandon in third, Lendel's in fourth, Morris in third place, Jake's down in fourth, then Alex in seventh, Craig is eighth, Ronaldo in ninth place, Stephen in 10th, plus a positional penalty there. We have a Ross in 11th, Ashley in 12th place, with Connor in 13th, and Marshall down in 14th place. Let's just see if we can't get Stephen in a chat party. So Stephen is there. Stephen, are you able to hear me? If not, let's just drop him a message. So guys, it looks like the Discord is unfortunately down. Stephen will have to come and join me in the chat party. That is very unfortunate. Okay, that is the sync that we have been waiting for. So let's hope for a clean race. So it is lights out and we're racing, and that is an absolutely fantastic start there by Brandon. So Brandon moving himself up into second place. He had started behind Christopher. We see cars very wide there going through turn number 1. Everybody very, very cautious through there. That's what we wanted to see. I'm going to keep trying to get into the Discord But we have Christopher leading with Brandon in second, Gavin's in third with Lendl fourth, then Morris is in fifth, Jakes is still in sixth place, Ashley in seventh, then Craig eighth, Marshall, he's had a cracker, he's moved himself up the order, he's in ninth place with Ronaldo in 10th, Alex is 11th, Stephen in 12th, and Ross in 13th position. So guys, we will keep trying the Discord, so Stephen will just change his headset quickly and join me in the chat party. So we might not have the volumes as we anticipate them. So some guys coming through, we see Vaughan, he's watching the Racing Boots. Peter saying, come on Alex, great qualifying, now do the business. Second, third and fourth, nice for the Racing Boots. Colin van Niekerk, good luck chaps, keep it clean, keep it super tight, flat out, super times flat out. En my heerder, daar is Jacques, hoe gaan het lekker by die see man. Sean van der Linde, he's joined us saying, go Alex, a team of Rough Riders. Peter, fourth gears, turn 4, put fast gear after turn 4, I don't understand what that means. Please help me there. So we are down to 12 drivers. We have unfortunately lost 2 drivers. Not sure why or where. Alex, he's gone into the pits. There we go. We can now hear you.
Hello. It's possible that some of the internet is messing around the country, because I've just had serious trouble here. And I think I'm back online. If you guys can hear me, then I should be where I need to be.
Oh, there's a rare tire just lying in the middle of the track. I wonder if that's now put damage on Christopher's car, because he hit that flat out. Did you see what I did there?
Oh my word. It is too late. It is too late. Too late for this. I'm not responsible for the corny jokes, may I just add. It's not my realm to make such corny, awful jokes. Well, okay, well, it wasn't that bad. It could have been worse, I'll put it that way.
So I do see that Gavin has dropped down the order, so he's down in 7th place. While these two, Brandon, having a look to the inside. It seems that the Hills brothers are extremely feisty, looking for opportunities. Lendl, he's in the 3rd place, so the Racing Boots doing absolutely fantastically here. So Sean's still saying that he's feeling under the weather. We won't use those exact words, as some people might take offense to them. But Sean, good to see you watching, man. Sterkte, get better, and we hope to see you racing with us on Monday.
On the brakes and into turns number 7 and 8 for Brandon. He's trying to find whatever gap he can to try and get around Chris up in first. This is the battle for second right now into hard right turns through the Ford chicane. A bit of a jet of flame coming out the back of Christopher's car. So cracking lap times, 122.6.
So if we can just jump down to 5th place. I know that we want to see what's happening there, but I'm seeing 3 drivers in close proximity there. So that is Marius has gone ahead. Then it is Jakes and Ashley behind. So they'll spin there for Ashley.
Well, some interesting moves that came out. Marshall.
So we can just jump. Can we just jump there to 4th place? There's Marius now closing up on the back of Lendl. So lots of little battles happening all over the racetrack, and this is exactly what we want. So we see that's the battle there for 1st and 2nd. This is the battle for 3rd and 4th. Then just a second behind these guys, 2 seconds behind them, is the battle for 5th and 6th.
On the main straight. A lovely feeling it must be to drive a Formula One car, for all intents and purposes, past the grandstands at Le Mans.
Oh, that was Brandon.
I wonder who that is.
That was Brandon on the outside there.
Oh dear. Himself getting a little bit too frisky, and then a spin. The car very, very delicate, requiring needs light inputs. Very sensitive, these little cars.
So that's going to now release Christopher out at front, out in the front now. He's going to be able to just put his head down and get the laps down, because without Brandon forcing his hand, Christopher can now drive his own race, where now Brandon was taking the race to him.
Well, 27 seconds in Brandon and Chris. They are still early days, just 33 minutes left of this race. There is still a chance. I think it can happen in half an hour.
So 33 minutes left to go, and the grid is unfortunately lost 2 drivers. So we'll have to do a quick roll call to see who it is. So it is the first that I'm seeing is not there. It is actually Craig and Adi, or Connor. So that is the 2 Yuki's finest drivers. They are both out.
It's a pity. They have performed in previous races. Connor and Craig. And those 2 Panasonic cars. We will miss them on this track.
Most definitely. So when we went around this part of the track, Lendl was 3.8 seconds behind Christopher. That's now dropped to 3.2. And you can see the lap time there, that Lendl went 0.8 quicker than our race leader. So Lendl is closing up on our leader.
And gap of 3.5 seconds, so consistently putting in times like that, I have no doubt that Christopher would have seen exactly how fast Lendl did that previous lap. If Lendl can keep it up, it won't take him long before he finds himself on the bumper of Mr. Adloff.
And I see Jakes has got himself a NASCAR blue car just behind him. That's Ashley within a second of him. So lots of action happening all over, as mentioned earlier. So I see that Lendl on that lap went 0.2 of a second quicker than Christopher. So he is in fact closing him down. Now the interesting battle that we're going to start seeing in the next couple of laps as Lendl goes wide there is Brandon closing up on the back of Marius. You see Brandon did a 128, so that looks like another mistake there, unless when he went off there was a little bit of damage, but that means he would have gone off by himself, because Christopher doing an absolute sterling job there up front, and I don't think that he would have had any contact.
And no contact rather, it's a good thing, because these cars are so brittle. It's better to find itself not attached to the car and becoming a rather little dangerous piece of debris in the middle of the track. So while these cars are fast, light and powerful, they are very, very fragile. It might look like Lendl is going wide there, but that seems to be an issue with a little bit of lag. Hitting that curve quite hard on turn number 3. Down the hill from under the Dunlop bridge into that right-hand hairpin.
You could hear when Lendl put that power on, how that rear was just letting go. It's like fighting for that grip. A little bit wide there coming out of turn number 5.
Let's move up. You can see that gap is closing. Wow. Now 0.05 of a second down. There we go. It is opening up a little bit now. That's because of the corner. I think Christopher has realized just how close Lendl is. There we go. You can see Chris heading out of the frame. Shot.
And Stephen, the other thing I've just seen, look at that. Marius is down into 4th. It is Brandon who's back up into 3rd place.
And then on the chase. Like I said, left.
So it is the two
Still
Racing Butt
to
drivers that have now put themselves back in the podium positions. If we can just jump down to 7th place, there's Gavin and Marshall. They are starting to close up on each other. So they will cross the line beginning their 9th lap. So 28 minutes left of this race. And guys, just a quick reminder that this series, this Formula Renault, little mistake there for Marshall, going a bit deep into turn number 2, excuse me. So that's going to allow the gap to open between himself and Gavin, who's ahead. But now the battle between Lendl and Christopher, that is closing once again. Just seeing that time was just sneaking bit under that 3 seconds. So we're getting some mention here from Vaughan saying that it was actually Gavin that passed Marshall. So thanks for that. Do appreciate the feedback there. So Lendl, Brandon and Marius with Ross and Ronaldo and now Alex, all of them carrying a track limits penalty. So we can just jump to 3rd place. Marius, I know he's 3 seconds away from the driver in front of him.
Coming down the hill.
And Marius losing 2 seconds a lap towards himself and Brandon.
There's Brandon. There's the man in 3rd. Penalty there. I wonder what those penalties will do. How significant they are. And what will be the result in just over 26.5 minutes time.
I see the gap between Lendl and Christopher, that's also now opened. It was sitting around the 3 seconds. Now it's touching on 4 seconds.
There is... was fighting hard, unless it is part of the strategy. Maybe he's taking it easy now with the intention of pushing once Christopher heads into the pits. Don't forget, there is still a pit stop to come. The driver on the grid must pit stop at least once during the race. Should they not, the time of a pit stop will be added to their finishing time.
And the time added is way a lot longer, 100%. It's not just the pit stop, it is plus the entry. So where a normal pit stop will cost you about 30 seconds or so, that we do penalize the guys because they must be aware. But this is the alpha tier and we do not expect anybody to take those liberties. Ronaldo getting out of the way for Brandon, letting him go past. That is Ronaldo down in 10th position, being lapped by the 3rd place driver, Brandon Hills.
Oh, look at that. Good now. That's Stephen getting a time penalty also for track limits. There are now just, if I am correct,
3 drivers that don't have a penalty.
Not a penalty. One of them is the man in front. Is 3 seconds clear. He is still going to be feeling the pressure from Lendl. Normally, Christopher opens up quite a sizable lead over the rest of the pack. And actually has done so by this time. 3.2 seconds. That's now come down from 4 to 3.2. So I wonder if Chris is perhaps toying with Lendl, having a bit of fun with the idea of a fight coming up. I saw that time. There we go, 2.9. Closing the gap. Perhaps some encouragement from the commentators will be doing that. I don't know, maybe.
Just maybe.
It's turn number 9. And there is turn number 11. And it's forward chicane and onto the pit straight. Excellent camera work there, look at that. Do you know how fast these cars are going? Yes, we can give you one. 265, 265 was a magic number. On the hill, just was really cracking up and down into third. Most of those hairpins, 3 more or less, switchbacks, which form part of the second sector, into the first sector, and a part of the second sector of the.
Can we just jump to 6th place? Sorry, Stephen. I see that Gavin is right up behind Ashley.
It is.
So there's Gavin moving to the inside. Not going to be enough space there. That was very close. So Ashley's going to go wide. Gavin will tighten up on the inside. He should have the advantage now. But Ashley will still be on the outside. He has every right to hold that line.
What's what? Oh no!
Whoa!
Gavin being a little bit too brave. Perhaps a bit of a fright.
What I think happened there is I think Ashley might have just had a little bit of lag. Gavin wanted to turn in, saw this car still coming, and decided, no, let me rather just straighten out. And all of a sudden we had Ashley follow the line like he should have, and Gavin going off. But Gavin is not out of it just yet. He is still fighting hard. Look, whoa!
Wow, that was a big one on that. Wow.
All I saw there was a repeat of what happened at the Nürburgring when he had Morris behind him. Gavin came out of the last corner, hit the outside curb, put the power on, and that planted him firmly into the wall on the right-hand side.
That means that gap has opened a little bit there. Ooh, Gavin getting himself a track limit penalty there.
That was Marshall.
There's a possibility. We'll jump on board.
Marshall getting himself out of the way.
Oh,
Whoa!
no. Enthusiastic. That is now, I think, frustration setting in with Gavin. Frustration at having come so close to getting in front of Ashley, and now trying whatever he can to close that gap. Ashley sitting pretty. At least a second ahead. But if Gavin continues to work, we'll close that gap. Will find himself right on Ashley's rear end. He may find himself an opportunity to overtake.
So this might be the moment that he's looking for. Oh, little luck up there for Gavin. So he's gone deep into the first phase of turn number 11.
Now he knows he needs to put on as much power, as much of his skill as possible to open that gap and hope and pray that Ashley takes his sweet time in the pits. It does also require that Gavin's car is as undamaged as possible. Make that pit stop as short as possible.
So Gavin coming down turn number 5. We're going to just keep... Sorry, that was turn number 4. Le Chapelle. If my wife would hear me, she would say that I'm not saying it in the correct French pronunciation. Well, sorry, Margarine. Great steady line there for Gavin. You can see he turned in once and held that line the whole way through. Absolutely fantastic. So Vaughan giving him lots and lots of words of encouragement, saying, "Gooi the laps now, Gav, you have the pace." So with Ashley having gone into the pits, he's now moved up into 6th place. Now we see Christopher and Brandon with Jakes. They go into pits, which means that Lendl is now our new race leader. Gavin decides to go into the pits now as well.
Oh. Can Gavin, here comes the question, can Gavin get himself into the pits, his car serviced and back out onto the track in 30 seconds? Because I saw the gap between Ash and Gavin being exactly 30 seconds.
So that's now down to 20.
See if we can go down the list and see where Ashley is.
I hope they weren't putting on those tires, because those were all-terrain tires that I was seeing. I just hope that his pit crew are not putting those on his car.
It's cost. Don't think Gavin's going to make... Oh, it's going to be
It's going to be so close.
It's going to be very... I reckon Ashley has got this one.
Ah!
There he is. Oh, it's going to be tight.
And there goes Ashley. So Ashley will take that place back from Gavin. That was an absolutely nail-biting moment. So there goes Lendl, our race leader. We will go into the pits with Morris in 2nd place. I'm just wondering whether Morris will have a couple of laps. Yup, so Morris will stay out. So he will now become the new race leader here with 17 minutes to go on lap number 17.
Does also mean that Christopher has moved down the order just because of a pit, not because of other reasons, not because he made a mistake or anything of that nature. And that gap, as it stands right now, 19 seconds is not enough for Marius to get in there.
There you can see Marius just playing with that throttle. He did run a little bit wide coming out of turn number 3, and that was him just trying to avoid that slowdown penalty to add more and more time onto his current time.
Let's see if that gap, there we go, that gap is actually closing. I find ourselves with Christopher being even further out in front. 16 seconds as opposed to the 19 seconds it was just a few moments ago.
But now Lendl's still in the pits. Lendl's now down into 7th place. So something's gone a bit wrong there for him.
In the pit. I reckon he has had, there he goes, he's gone back into the pit. So I wonder if he's had a bit of a mistake. Oh, you know what?
It was the tires.
Just a glitch. It's just a glitch. I'm glad it's just a glitch.
But Lendl is still in the pits. This pit stop should not be taking that long. So I'm almost thinking he might have gone out and had some contact, because that looks like damage being repaired. Otherwise, the pit stop for this is just about 6 seconds to put fuel in and change your tires.
Is that Lendl's moving very far down the order now, right down to 9th. I think we might be seeing a connection problem. His team appears to, his pit team appears to have disappeared, should we say? No. Oh, that is interesting. This gap, that's 3 minutes 13. That means that Lendl, I think, is quite firmly out of contention for anywhere close to the podium. That is a great pity. I wonder what the issue was. Oh, that's close. Sure.
Yep, Gavin came.
One heck of a move.
I'm not sure if that was Gavin or Marius, but came flying down through turn number 1.
It was Gavin. That was very, very close.
And Gavin's got himself ahead of Ashley. So that's really cool to see. Because Ashley a 126 there for him, and Gavin managed to doing a 123.
Could have been an interesting strategy from Gavin there to get ahead of also the factor of traffic. Because if Ashley wants to get past Gavin, he will need to go through Lendl first.
So Marius
Not because of the placing on the grid.
Marius is in the pits, which means that Brandon is now promoted into second place. That was Lendl in the background there. He went straight on through turns in number 7 and 8.
I wonder if he is experiencing trouble with his setup.
So we do see he is still on the track. We did see him coming out of turn number 8 there down the straight. So there he is. Must have been a little mistake, possibly a little lock up, and decided to rather go straight on than collect the car in front of him. But Lendl down in 10th place, so not where he wanted to be.
He's not having any trouble with speed, that's for sure. 260 odd kilometers an hour on the main straight. So I don't think there's an issue with speed. I wonder what's gone wrong. Not really much of a way for us to tell from the commentary box at this point.
So currently Brandon Hills is the fastest driver on the track at the moment. And at his current speed and the current lap times, he is catching Christopher at 2 seconds a lap. With 13 minutes to go, they've just crossed the line. That's 0.4. So Brandon is on track to catch and chase down Christopher, our current race leader.
A lot of work to do, though, to get it there.
And I cannot agree with you anymore. But we understand that this is still racing. We understand it's online racing, and stranger things have happened.
Absolutely. Still have 12 of our 14 drivers in this race. 4 seconds is not a lot of time. All it takes. Interestingly enough, noting that this penalty bigger, greater, should I say, than that which Brandon had attained, means that even if
that's Stephen getting out of the way.
Yep. Even if these positions stay the same, the next 11 minutes and 50 seconds, you may well find that Brandon moves up into first based on penalties. Wouldn't that be a way to end this race?
So Christopher 124.6, Brandon 122.9. So Brandon is definitely closing him down. Then I'm just seeing further down the field, Marius 122.6, so he's going faster than Brandon, who's ahead of him. Gavin 122.3, so he's going even quicker, so he is currently the fastest on track. And then we see Lendl doing a 122.4, so Lendl, he still has the pace. Not sure what has happened and why he was dropping down the order. Very, very strange.
Pity for Lendl. It really was turning out to be a very, very good race for him. Right now, the significant gaps, significant battles will be between Christopher in first, Brandon in second.
So there's only...
See something? Oh, hello. Gavin's pulling some penalty.
Yeah, I was about to say, just seen Gavin get that penalty, so there's only one driver on this. Stephen, I don't know if you want to just look on the directors at the bottom. There might be something that brings up the timing to see if we aren't able to bring up what the penalties are. There we have them. Okay. So now you have a view. So Brandon has a 7-second penalty. Christopher, 3 seconds. Marius, a 1 second penalty. Him and Ashley have the least amount of penalties, excluding Marshall, who has no penalty. So really great that we found that. So all Marius now needs to do is close that gap between himself and Brandon. All he needs is 6 seconds, and he will be able to take that place. But I think that's a little bit harder said than done. considering that Marius is still 15 seconds away from him. But at least we now have a sense of how the guys are tracking around the time penalty point of view. Brandon still going quicker than Christopher. Looking at those last laps. So 3.5 seconds now, so that time is definitely coming down. Just under 10 minutes to go.
Here is Marius, and with all to do at the moment.
So I am still fiddling around with the Discord to see if I can't get it reconnected, because that's where we would run our interviews with our drivers. If that is not the case, we can just keep them in the chat party and we can run the interviews there.
Right. I like all of our drivers here, with the exception of Marshall in 9th place, all of them having incurred penalties. So Marius right now 20 seconds behind. He's opened quite significantly now, quite significantly. Don't know if he's going to be able to get that extra 16 seconds, the next 7 minutes and 42 seconds. Here is the man in front. Big pity. 5-second gap between him and the man in second, Brandon. A really stellar performer, a consistent.
You see now, you've just got a message from Vaughan saying, yeah, you cursed him.
You haven't cursed anybody, look. Getting down from 5 to 4. We're helping him.
And there we go, Christopher back up onto pace. So I'm not sure whether he's just trying to manage that gap a bit. Saw that Brandon and Morris were putting down the gauntlet, so he's now down into the 121s. And now, interestingly enough, there's Gavin. Let's drop down to 4th place. Gavin in the 121.9s. He's closing up on the rear of Jake's. Stephen, can we jump down to 5th place, please?
There you go.
Yeah, because that is the battle for 5th. And that's not 6th, so the battle for 4th and 6th. So 4th and 5th. Gavin currently in 5th place, starting to close down on Jakes, who's just ahead of him.
Look at that time. Look at the time that Gavin put in on his last lap. 1:21.9. Exactly the same time as Christopher. 1:21.9. Oh no, we don't want to be doing that. We'll surely get him a penalty for that cut on the track.
Well, Gavin getting a little kick off the rear there. And a message is still coming through, so thank you very much, guys. Theo saying awesome stream, Dylan and Stephen. Theo, thank you so much, man. We're looking forward to having you come joining us and racing with us once again. Peter is still shouting for his teammate Alex down in 11th place, saying keep fighting, Alex, and that's what we want. We want that fighting spirit. And the fighting spirit that we have this evening is definitely from Gavin. Starting to close up on the Green Mamba driver.
Yep.
So in terms of the lap time, Gavin finding a 0.7 of a second quicker than Jakes, and that is him in the wall.
That's it. It's him. Front splitter gone. That's other damage having been incurred a car.
So that will be the front wing as well as suspension damage.
It's very, very unfortunate. There we go. There's your result. Hugely unfortunate.
So we're definitely going to see.
Cursed.
We're definitely going to see Gavin coming into the pits now.
Will he?
No, with 4 minutes to go, I think he's got the right idea. It's literally just to get the car home. We did see Dane do this. He drove around for just about 6 minutes and managed to secure himself some points because he's got Ashley who's behind him 6 seconds down.
No.
But that car is not going to turn. My goodness, that was close. And I'm sure Marshall was holding his breath there.
Not going well. That means that Ashley has closed the gap. It was 9 seconds a few moments ago to now 5 seconds. Or, as a matter of fact, so it's going to take a lot for Gavin to nurse this car across the finish line, maintain his 5th place positioning.
He has 4 laps. If he can just do this for 4 more laps,
yes,
he could still get himself a 6th place. Because Ross is about 40 seconds behind, and I don't think that he's going to be able to make that up. But I don't think he'll be fighting Ashley. When Ashley comes, I'm sure he'll just move out the way, allow Ashley to go past, and try and just secure himself this 6th place.
Let's keep an eye on the speeds here. I want to see what kind of speeds Gavin will be able to do. Oh, that gap is closing fast now.
But you can just see how badly that car is understeering. Look, they're even on the brakes, lock up. The car is not turning. It's got no front grip. You see Gavin moving out the way there. And Ashley will come flying past him now.
It is a pity. Car not going anything faster than 240 km an hour, where your average speed for a car coming down there is 260.
That's it.
What a way in the race, Gavin. And first.
Sorry, I saw a message coming from Vaughan that says, "You guys make us nervous." So what he's trying to say is because we were watching Gavin closing up on Jake's, we forced that error.
Oh, no. So what? Right now, is that what he's saying?
Oh man, thanks Vaughan, that really tickled me nicely there. So under 2 minutes to go, Christopher has been able to keep Brandon at bay. Brandon 4 seconds behind him. Then a gap to 3rd place is Marius, a further 19 seconds down. Jake's a very, very quiet race for him in 3rd place. Ashley, he's up into 5th, having been able to get himself around Gavin. And you can see 30 seconds away between Gavin and Ross. Ross won't be able to close that up, so Ross will get himself into 7th. Ronaldo will take home an 8th place with Marshall in 9th. The only driver, and I'm sure my cousin Memo will make a comment to say, you see, it's the Chasing Beavers that drive decently. The only driver to not have a time penalty. I just hope we haven't given him the commentator's curse. Lendl, a very interesting race for him, dropping down the order, going into the pits, and we saw him pitting once again. He's down in 10th place, and then Alex in 11th with Steven. All he wanted to do was just finish the race. Well, there he is in 12th place, and he will get himself some points on the board.
3 seconds to go. The officer are just joining us. Where have you been? For more racing action, you will have to tune in next week, Monday, for the Group A. Looking forward to some excellent racing there. What track are we going to next week, Monday?
Oh, sorry, I got sidetracked. I was reading. Vaughan is saying that he watches the stream while he's racing, and then when he sees his car, he gets himself all nervous. That's not how you should be driving, Vaughan. You should be just driving the car. I'm quite happy that you don't watch the stream while we're streaming you.
Insanity.
But thanks for the extra view there, Vaughan. Appreciate it. Okay, so where is our race leader? Christopher, so he should be coming around the last corner right about now, and that is 100% correct. So the win for Christopher, that makes it 4 in a row, with Brandon coming home in second place. An absolute great drive there for him. Marius, I'm sure he'll be very happy with his third. Jake's down in fourth, with Ashley in fifth. Gavin, remember guys, these are the provisional final positions, is that we will need to see what happens with the time penalties that will be added, and there might be some shufflings of the final results. But Ross comes home in 7th, Ronaldo is in 8th, Marshall will finish in 9th, with Lendl in 10th, and then Alex in 11th, and Stephen in 12th place. So guys, unfortunately we won't be able to get the images up of the drivers because for some reason the Discord on my side will not reopen, so I might have to just do a full shutdown there, but we'll definitely do the voice commentating in the chat party, so we do get to hear what the guys are saying.
Excellent race for Christopher Radloff. Our standings coming up now. They are. And Christopher finds himself in first. And not quite hot enough. In second, Marius in third, Alex in fourth. Ashley, Evan, and Ross taking up fifth, sixth, and seventh. I can't remember who is in 8th. Who's that?
So in 8th place, that is Ronaldo. 9th is Marshall.
Ronaldo, Marshall, and Lendl. Very good time for Lendl tonight. And on the order, Alexander and Stephen, 7th and 12th respectively.
Okay, let's just jump out the chat party. Alright guys, well done guys. Unfortunately we do have a bit of a technical problem with the Discord, so we will have to do the interviews in the game chat. So we will give you just a minute.
I don't have a minute, I'm going to pass out before that minute ends.
Well then I'll tell you what, Morris, let's start with you. So Morris, we'll start off with you. An absolutely crack of a race, so many different positions changing. You managed to get yourself a third place. Once again, a little battle with Gavin. Gavin was closing up on you. Made a little mistake and then started dropping down the field again. But you managed to get yourself a third place.
Yeah, I was a little bit lucky also, but I just tried to avoid the penalties. So I wasn't, there's lots of times I got penalties and I lost loads of time to the front guys and I just couldn't, get it back.
Yeah, we unfortunately did get one of those when you ran wide out of turn number 3, went down and into turn number 4 and were no throttle, kind of just freewheeling it down. So definitely did see that.
And they penalized me. I actually let Brando by. But just they gave me the penalty, so that was a bit unlucky there. But then I just tried to keep it consistent. And I thought to myself, why don't I just change tyres in the pit stop and have fresh ones in the end so I can just kind of stay consistent and not make mistakes. And there we go.
No, awesome. Lendl, we just want to come to you quickly, is that you were having an absolute cracker. We saw you going into the pits and then got stuck there for a very long time. Can you just tell us what happened there?
I actually didn't know. I think I had some damage that I was unaware of, and that took a bit of time. So I think I was like a 2-minute stop or something. So that's pretty much my race over.
No, 100%. So very unfortunate to see that. And then Brandon, an absolute crack of a fight there for you, getting yourself back into second. But At one point, we thought that you were going to close down and catch Christopher. Then all of a sudden, it seemed like you just opened the taps again and was just managing that gap between you.
Yeah, the first few laps, this car's always just so much quicker than ours, setup-wise and straight. So it's nice and easy to close in on the turn, but down the straight, that car just, I don't know, Renault 445 or something. Yeah, it was great. And then it's just tough riding in the slipstream with these cars. So to keep it together, it's really tough. But to Christopher again, he's like a robot, man. He just doesn't make mistakes.
Yeah.
No, 100%. And then Christopher, absolute fantastic race for you there, man. But you had a few guys chasing you, a few yellow cars in your rear view mirror, but you managed to keep them out. Just take us through your race.
Dylan, I tell you what, off the start, going down into the back straight, I looked behind me and I had 3 yellow cars, very fast yellow cars right on my tail, and I just thought, this is going to be a very, very long race. And I had Brandon giving me huge amounts of pressure, and I just had to try and keep focused, and I still wasn't actually sure. I was going through probably turn 5 or so, and then I noticed that he wasn't there anymore. That's how much I was concentrating. I wasn't even looking in the rearview mirror. But kudos to him to keeping it behind me in the slipstream. It's so difficult. I knew he had a race pace on me here. I tried working on my setup to get even quicker, but yeah, he was very quick. Him and Lendl were both very, very quick, and Gavin. But yeah, just try to keep consistent and not make mistakes. And then at the end, I tried to push for the fastest lap, but I was nowhere near. But yeah, it was an awesome race, and thanks to Brandon for clean fighting as always, and well done to everyone else for a great race and nice clean first lap.
Well done, man. Congratulations.
Right, guys, thank you very much. So to the guys, don't forget that we will be racing next week on the 9th of July at Silverstone GP. So we look forward to seeing you there. But otherwise, don't forget, we will be racing again on a Monday night where we go back to the Group A's. And this time we go to the Snetterton 200. Lots of mixed emotions about that track and which car will be suited there. But guys, thank you very much for tuning in to the guys on the stream. Thank you so much for all the wonderful support, lots and lots of messages. So guys, all I can say is until then, keep racing, and thanks for watching.
Yes, for now.
Thanks, guys.
Nice race, everybody.
And to you, Stephen, thank you so much for joining me. We look forward to seeing you on Monday.
Monday it is. There's going to be some excellent racing coming with Group A. There's some amazing cars between the Sierra Cosmos, the Mercedes 190 E2.5 Evo, and of course the BMW E30 M3 and providing some real entertainment, real racing, some real nostalgia. If you remember all of the Group A racing, Snetterton should be a fantastic track to watch those cars attack.
Till then, Stephen, we'll see you then. Cheers.
It's for now. Couldn't hear anything